Okay, time for our big reveal. Now I've gone on with 2 coats of our finish, our final coat, which is the acrylic eggshell, and I did have a couple of issues. One being that a tiny bit of splatter happens. If you get right to the end of your paint, your flexi liner, sometimes you get a few spots of splatter, which is a bit of a pain because you kind of have to wait and then rub that back. But they were only kind of spots, small spots, so I could go back and finish. So I just added on an extra hour of waiting. Well, I guess that's the benefit of using a paint that's so fast drying. And then the other thing was I just missed a couple of spots where I needed to go back and do a little bit of filling, and I've gone back in. So again, it was just those little kind of 3 spots and all done. Come on, baby.
There's a hole there, you can see where it all got through.
Yeah, so here I had to retape so I know what's going to happen.
Not that bit, I meant
Here.
the actual hole for that bit.
Oh, was there? Oh, yeah. Well, what do we think then? It is complete. Spraying has gone almost to plan. I'd say the main issue with spraying is all the masking and the preparation. And for being our first attempt at spraying with that airless sprayer, we've probably started on one of the hardest projects, because usually if you imagine a bedroom, you could just mask off the door, let's say, and the window, and then you can just go around. If you were just doing all the woodwork, perhaps you could go around, do all that, 2 coats and you're done, and then you can take down the masking. When I'm here, I've got 3 external doors, I've got glazing just about everywhere, and we needed continuous access through here, so masking was just a nightmare. And of course you end up using quite a bit of, on this sort of build, the building, you end up using loads of plastic, which is not a good thing. So I would definitely want to be looking at using paper sheeting or something like that. The benefit of the clear plastic that I used with that masking tape pre-installed on it is that it let the light through, but only for a while. And then I started using it as a test area, and it soon blocked out the light. So you need decent lighting as you go. With the airless sprayer, what happens is it's much higher, unlike the HVLP sprayer we had, which is a low pressure, so it's like a reverse vacuum cleaner almost, but quite a lot of air, and that takes it. An airless sprayer is under much higher pressure, and it's like atomizing the paint. And the nice thing is you don't have to thin it down as much, but it does have quite a bit of overspray. That was controlled a little bit by when I changed the tip size. But you do need to mask up everything, and where we had small gaps, it went through, and by the time it lands on anything, it's completely dry. So the camera will dust off and the kitchen worktop will dust off, but it's just something to bear in mind. Our greens come out all right, and I'm loving the colour. It's the same colour we've got in the kitchen, so it links the two. I probably could have done a bit more of the walls with that, but I ran out of paint anyway. But all these gaps and everything are pretty tidy, and where I have had a little bit of spray through any of the masking, I'm going to go around now. I've scraped bits off with a blade, and I can Osmo that to bring it back in to blend it all in. There's a couple of spots up here where you probably can't see in this light, which is a good thing, but I am going to have a long feature wall light here, which is lighting up and down, and where I didn't sand the filler perfectly there and there, there's a little bit of a worry that that's going to show up, but probably just to me. And then coming through this way, the door lining came out great. All this trim, you can imagine when you're getting in all these sort of mouldings with a paintbrush, it's a bit of a pain, whereas 2 angles as you go up and down with the sprayer picks up those well. It's a little bit harder to get in on the back side, but flush against here I could just about hit that. The sneaky hole here, which is intentionally not filled, that's my safe zone, this side. This is where our stack is, our pipe. In here, in the future, we're going to have a little project to inset into that space to make the most of that kind of dead void. So for the time being, we'll leave that where it is. Tell me what you think. Do you like the floor?
I'll say not just tomato.
Huh?
Fantastic!
Fantastic! I'll take it. So I'd originally planned to get this video out at the weekend, and those of you who watched the previous spraying video, which showed the kind of the spraying part of this project, I left the reveal as a bit of a cliffhanger for the next episode. You wouldn't believe the comments and the direct emails even that I got claiming that I'd ruined the video by by not revealing the paint finish at the end. Sorry if that was a bit Hollywood for you, but I just thought it'd be a good way of kind of cutting there and then do the review part in this video. So let's talk about the sprayer. As far as the sprayer, as I said, this sprayer is designed for trim, touch-up, doors and smaller areas. So you wouldn't use it for big jobs, and if you were going to move towards spraying, then you'd get a full setup. The reason I bought this sprayer was not for the porch, and the porch was probably not a good way to start. I bought the sprayer predominantly to do all of the doors in the house. I've got 15 or so full-size doors to restore and paint, plus a load of cabinets and kind of bespoke doors and joinery around bedrooms and utility that I need to do. Now, when I break it down, the way I justified it to myself, as I'm quite good at doing, is I broke it down and I said, well, I've got X amount of doors to do and kind of projects with it. It worked out something like £15 per item that I was spraying, £15 per door. The total cost, that's how much it would cost. Yes, I can sell at the end, and that's one way of justifying it to yourself. You say, all right, it's a 400 quid tool. They sell used for £300 or more on eBay. I can get everything done and I'm only down £100. But in reality, we all know that rarely does one sell tools, and that's simply probably not the best way to justify it. You can justify it that way to your wife, but if you're kind of doing your own maths, then I normally break it down over a project basis. Anyway, with that in mind, that's how I worked it out, and I was happy enough to go for that. You know, getting a decent enough finish on full height doors in the centre of the house, paying an extra £15-20, and bearing in mind it's going to save time. If I can get all the prep done and have maybe 5 or 6 doors at a time lined up and stood up so I can get both sides and spray, 6 doors at a time, it's going to take way less time. Plus, it's also just going to give a really nice finish. They're quite decorative doors with a lot of mouldings, so you wouldn't just be rolling, you'd be brushing. And although you can get a nice brushed finish, I think going the spray route is going to pay off. Anyway, that's the way I justified it. The negatives are the sheer amount of masking and preparation you need. Yes, you get overspray, and because, like I said earlier in the video, because we had those doors or kind of the flaps of the plastic to get through, and things were being untaped and taped up, some of that got through just because of the draft or whatever, and settled on the kitchen worktop, so it had to be wiped off at the end of the day. Nothing, I mean, it's not going to ruin anything because it just lands as a dust, but it's a bit of a pain. But for that, it was quite fiddly, and yes, it took a lot of masking, but I probably would have had to do a fair bit of masking anyway in those shadow gaps if I'd been painting with a brush or a roller. It was more the the full size sheets that was kind of what I had to do extra because we were spraying. Anyway, they were the main differences. Clear up time, I got pretty good at it in the end. It was kind of like 5-10 minutes max. So that wasn't a major game changer for me. But I would do it again. I wouldn't get it out for small little jobs. I've just made some doors up here in the loft for insulated doors to go into the hatch. I'm just going to roll those. The rest of the room is rolled. And what you can have if you spray something, and then, you know, if I'm going to spray these inset doors and then I've got a rolled emulsion around it, they're going to be different, even though I'm using the same colour paint. So there is a matching type issue. You can't just go back in and spray a touch-up, roll a touch-up on a sprayed wall. It will probably stand out. Anyway, I'm only dabbling into it at the moment, and it's certainly not the sole route I'm going, but those of you who commented saying it was a waste of time, that porch was really just a bit of fun as far as testing the sprayer out on there. You're right, I could have done it with a roller or a brush. But anyway, that's where I'm going to leave it. If you've got any questions, then leave them down below. Hopefully you can find more detailed information on going the spraying route on other videos, on other channels. This was just a bit of an experiment. I will be using it in future videos, so this is kind of the introduction to using that tool. But don't worry, I'm not going to throw away my paintbrushes. Anyway, thank you for watching. Remember, if you can, do it yourself. Don't worry, no cliffhangers at this time. Next video, we'll be moving away from the porch for an episode or two, getting some other projects done. But then I've got a very, very cool part of the porch, which I haven't mentioned yet, to share with you, and it's just about finished now. So there we go. Also, mugs are back in the online shop. They're a different colour this time, but they're available. We sold about 20% of them yesterday for the first day. So if you would like one, then head down to the link in the description below.